Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be going to the top 10 right backs of the Premier League era. Now right backs isn't really as easy to choose as goalkeepers. I think Premier League has never been blessed with many great right backs, but I'm mainly going to base this off consistency really, because right back's a hard position to stand out in. I think that no matter how good a right back you are, most time you will get overshadowed by your teammates further up the pitch. So it is a difficult position to stand out in, really, right back. So that's why it's always been quite hard to choose many outstanding ones. But I think how solid you are as a right back, either going forward or at the back, is probably the most important. So yeah, there's been some good enough right backs in the Premier League era to choose from. So I have managed to get 10. And before we start, I'm just giving an honourable mention to Steve Finnan, who was at Liverpool between 2003 and 2008. Finnan was a very solid defender, but he doesn't quite make the top 10. But in at number 10, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, a player who's only actually been playing for about 3 years, so this might seem a little bit controversial to some people, but I thought it felt like I had to put Trent in here somewhere purely because of the impact he's made. For a right back, I mean, I may go on about it's hard to stand out. Trent has managed to do that to his credit in certain games. I mean, I watched Liverpool against Leicester on Boxing Day, and Trent put in one of the best performances I've ever seen a right back do. Not just even defensively and going forward. He got 2 assists and a goal. Yeah, Trent. He is seems to be creating a new style of right back really as well. Trent, and he can easily play midfield. Trent can as well. He is very good, and I think he definitely deserves a place in this list, and that's a credit to him because he's only very young and he's only been playing Liverpool for about 3 years. But I do think he's that good. I'd give him a place in the top 10. I think he's that good. Number 9, I've got Stephen Carr, who played for 3 Premier League clubs: Tottenham, Newcastle, and Birmingham. Stephen Carr was a very solid right back. I'm going to go on about how it's difficult to stand out, but it's easy to be solid for a right back. And Stephen Carr was really that. He was a player who never really stood out necessarily, but he was very consistent throughout his career. Stephen Carr, he hardly put a foot wrong. He was a very solid right back, really, an underrated one in a way as well. But yeah, I definitely put him in this list because I think he deserves it just for how solid he really was at the back, and just a very simple going right back, very simple going, and he just did enough, did his job every week very consistently. So yeah, I'd put him in at number 9. In at number 8, I've got Bacary Sagna from Arsenal. Now, Sagna played for Arsenal between 2007 and 2014, I believe it was. Yes, I believe it was 2014. And Sagna was, again, very consistent. I mean, he arrived at Arsenal just very solid. That's all I can really say about Sagna, is he hardly put a foot wrong. He was all right. He was decent going forward, didn't have a bad cross on him, but he was always a reliable right back for Arsenal, really, and I don't think Arsenal have had a great right back since Sagna, really. I mean, Bellerin's done okay, but I think defensively Arsenal do miss something with Sagna. He was a very good fullback, and yeah, I mean, I'd definitely say he deserves a place in the top 10. Number 7, I've got Kyle Walker. Now, Kyle Walker has also been at a couple of Premier League clubs, mainly Tottenham and Manchester City. Of course, the reason I think Walker ranks a little bit lower on this list is because defensively he can be very vulnerable. He's certainly not a defensive fullback, Walker, and that does get shown in games when he does get targeted. But he has still been a very good right back in the Premier League, no doubt about that. So it's difficult to not put him in this list, really. He's given us some good moments for both teams. He was part of the Man City Centurions team, and he was also part of a solid Tottenham team at the start of the decade. So yeah, I'd definitely say Walker deserves a place in this list, mainly because he has been a good right back, and he has been playing regularly in the Premier League for about 10 years now as well. So going forward, very good. Not so great at the back, but still I'd say good enough to get a place in this list. Number 6, I've got Seamus Coleman of Everton, a right back I've always really enjoyed watching play. I don't know, there's something about Coleman that he's always been very solid, but he's also good going forward as well, Coleman. Like, that's the thing with him. He's pretty much the, fullback who's good at doing both. I mean, he could have, surprisingly, never really went on to move to, with all due respect to Everton, a Manchester United when he was, in his in his better days, say about 2012 sort of time, 13. But Coleman's always been good. He's kept up the consistency throughout his career, and yeah, very good. He is a great servant to Everton. He's arguably at the moment Everton's best servant they've had at the club for a long time. So yeah, certainly can't argue with Coleman being in the list. Good going forward, good at the back. That's the best thing about Coleman. So yeah, he's unfortunate to probably not rank higher, and he's been at the club now 11 years as well. So certainly done his bit for Everton. A very consistent player and a great servant. At number 5, we've got Pablo Zabaleta. Now, Zabaleta's a right-back who not many people can dislike Zabaleta. He's that sort of player, I feel like. He's a hard one to not like. He very consistent for Manchester City. He played for the club from 2008 to 2017. And yeah, just a hard player to dislike. A very committed defender and showed an awful lot of passion on the pitch. And I think that's what Man City fans really loved, that he was a massively passionate player. And he doesn't get the plaudits of Man City, such as Kompany, Aguero and David Silva get, but he really has been a great servant. And he also started out before the money really came into Man City. So full credit to Zabaleta really for how he has. And he has also had a spell at West Ham, but he's not really been as good there. But I think West Ham have signed him past his best days, really. But yeah, no doubt Man City, when he was at his best, a very good right-back and a fully committed right-back as well, and one you'd love to have in your team. And yeah, I think he definitely deserves a good high spot on this list. At number 4, we've got Lauren, who was at Arsenal in the Invincibles team. Lauren was at Arsenal from the year 2000-2007. Lauren was, again, just a very, like Zabaleta, committed, solid defender. Lauren actually also took penalties, which was quite strange to see at times as well. When it wasn't Thierry Henry, it was usually Lauren. And he had quite a good, consistent record from the spot as well. But Lauren was rather good going forward, but it was more his defensive work out that really caught the eye. Just an impressive, rock-solid right-back who played in a very good Arsenal team as well, but he more than played his part in a very good back four. But yeah, Lauren really did come in, and he was a great signing, really, from Arsene Wenger, definitely. I think he deserves, a high place in this list, and rightfully so for me. Solid right-back, played for Arsenal for years, and he also had a spell at Portsmouth again, where he did okay, but not quite as good as he did at Arsenal. And I think Portsmouth might have signed him past his best time, so... But yeah, for his Arsenal days, definitely up there for the best right-back I've seen. Brilliant. At number 3, we've got Branislav Ivanovic now. Branislav Ivanovic also played centre-back, but I'd mainly say his days were at right-back. But Ivanovic was a fantastic right-back. He could score plenty of goals. He scored 34 goals for Chelsea overall in his career, I believe it was. I think it was 34, so... Yeah, I mean, full credit to Ivanovic. Good at the back, good going forward. He was, he was just good going both ways, really, but he was so good at what he did, and he was just such a powerhouse as well, Ivanovic. He was quite an intimidating defender to go against, so... But, I mean, for me, he's just, he really played a part in what was a very good Chelsea back four, really, so it'd be difficult to leave him out of this list, and he is one of my favourite right-backs, again, just a very committed defender, and he was so consistent as well, and he was a threat both ends of the pitch, really, which was also something to give him full credit for. At number 2, we've got Lee Dixon of Arsenal, and this is Arsenal's third appearance in this list. They've certainly given us some good right-backs over the years. Lee Dixon was at the club 14 years, and it's difficult to find a defender, again, he was so good defensively. He played in a really good Arsenal back four as well. But yeah, Dixon just he was just so solid at the back. He always give 100%. He was just a player who you'd guarantee a Mr. Consistent right-back, and that's what I think a lot of these right-backs in this list are. You can probably call them Mr. Consistent, because I feel like that's what Lee Dixon was in this Arsenal team. He never really got the plaudits compared to the front players or maybe the centre-backs, but as a consistent player, you'd guaranteed a good 7 out of 10 from him, or 8 out of 10 every single week. So, yeah, Dixon was superb, played in the Premier League for a long time, and yeah, I think definitely deserves to be up there. At number 1, we've got Gary Neville of Manchester United. Gary Neville was at Manchester United 19 years. I mean, that was playing in the first team regularly before he did retire. You're a one-club man, and it's always going to be difficult to find a better right-back in the Premier League era than Gary Neville. Not the most technically gifted right-back you'll ever see, as many in this list aren't, but Gary Neville, again, his passion for Manchester United and his love for the club and just how much he'd give on the pitch every week was just great to see, really admirable. He was a captain for a while as well. And yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of him as a player. He played in some very good Manchester United teams, but he was always a player who he also develops a very good relationship with David Beckham on the right-hand side as well, where the two would link up regularly. But yeah, he was a big part of Sir Alex Ferguson's reign at Manchester United, so it's just hard to overlook Neville. And for me, I'd just give him the nod over Dixon. It was pretty difficult to choose between the two, but I think overall you've got to say Gary Neville just for how good he really was. The only thing that was a bit unfortunate for Gary Neville was towards the end of his career, he did suffer with a lot of injury worries, but no doubt in his prime, an absolutely brilliant right-back, and just so consistent, and not the most technically gifted, but, brilliant defensively, and just generally a terrific right back, really, and his passion for the club, I think, was Manchester United fans love to see. So I'd definitely put him at number one. And yeah, that's my list. If thanks for watching, and if you would change anything, please let me know. I did find this list rather difficult to do. Really, it took me a while to research all the right backs and really get it down to a top 10. But I think that's a fair enough list. I mean, a lot of these have played for top clubs, but consistency, I think, with right backs is what the main thing is, because it is hard to stand out as a right back, really, and not many, a right back is that area of the pitch where it is difficult. But yeah, overall, I'd say that is a fair list. But if you change anything, please let me know, and please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you soon with some more videos.